What's up, everyone? Happy
Hey,
Saturday.
hey.
Welcome to another episode of the Bigote Brothers podcast. And hey, how's it going over there, man?
It's all right, man. It's really sunny right now. We actually just came from the beach right now.
Oh,
So it's obviously down here it's summer.
yeah,
So we had very cloudy. We had a very cloudy start to the summer, but it's picking up now. So it was great. There was a lot of people in the beach today because there was this obviously the Lunar New Year celebrations going on with the park.
right, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
I I I I was able to buy a bag of White Rabbit candies. I don't know if you remember
Oh,
White
yeah,
Rabbit
yeah, yeah,
candies.
of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah,
So this
childhood.
stall, I got a couple of things. So they were selling a tote bag. So I bought some merch. I bought some White Rabbit merch.
Uh-huh.
I bought a tote bag, and then I got the regular White Rabbit, the creamy one, and there was
Right.
red bean on it too. So
Nice.
I was eating the red bean on the way. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
All
So I
right.
mean, this is a pro tip, right? You gotta always hit up the Asian stuff
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
they always
absolutely.
still
Yeah,
there's always still good stuff,
right.
especially during this time. Yeah. How about you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we had a good, it was a pretty good Lunar New Year. We yeah we got some food from Chinatown, and well, this is a Chinatown close to downtown. So if you're an LA native, or you're living in LA, there are two Chinatowns here. There's the one in downtown, which is the older Chinatown, and then the other Chinatown is in San Gabriel Valley, which is where the really good regional Chinese food is. But yeah, it's a bit far of a drive, but yeah, still it's worth going to there.
So paint me a picture, right? So obviously, almost all big cities have Chinatowns, right?
Right.
But they're really different. For example, if you go to the Chinatown in the Philippines, you're gonna see a lot of um, old school ambiance.
Yeah.
You got the dumplings. You got all these
Yeah.
good Chinese ramen places. But how does it look like when it comes to the Chinatown there down there in LA?
So yeah. I think right like here in like the Chinatown, which is close to downtown, which is the original Chinatown, um, built close to Union Station. Yeah, it has kind of that Binondo vibe, like
Mm,
what we have in the Philippines. Because the Philippines, no, we know the Philippines has the oldest. That's the oldest Chinatown in like Asia
I
or in
think
the
so.
world.
I think that's the
Yeah, yeah.
oldest one. Yeah.
But it's kind of like that's kind of like the vibe there. But if you go like San Gabriel Valley, which is like
Oh,
Alhambra.
hold up. Josh Hart just banked in a three in the
Oh,
third quarter. I'm sorry. We're watching the game too
yeah,
while we
no
do
worries,
this.
no worries. Yeah, the game's on. The game's on.
The
Yeah,
game's on.
yeah.
The Lakers are up. Well, two now because of that three by Josh
Right,
Hart. Anyway,
right.
sorry, you were talking about Chinatown.
Yep. But yeah, so the vibe of Alhambra Monterey Park is a more modern Chinatown vibe, but that's all where you get like I mentioned earlier, the regional stuff. Like you want Sichuan hot pot, it's there. You want
Okay.
Cantonese cuisine, it's there. Like the Taiwanese cuisine, it's there. So that's where you kind of go for the for the more modern regional stuff.
So what's the go to dish you would what would you recommend? So let's say I'm not from LA. So what would you recommend someone from out of town if they go to that Chinatown? If you're gonna
Oh,
sell them in that place? What is it gonna be?
okay. So I think it's in San Gabriel or in Pasadena. There's this place called Boiling Point, and,
Okay.
and it's kind of like it's a hot pot, but it's not an all you can eat hot pot. It's basically you get a hot pot with different stuff already on in the pot, like beef, tofu skin, enoki mushrooms, fish balls, all the good stuff basically. Yeah, yeah. That's one of the more uh, popular places. I guess there's different locations. There's one in San Gabriel Valley. There's one in Gardena, Irvine. Yeah, so yeah,
So the hot pot is the one where you there's the soup, right? And you just put the ingredients in there and
yeah,
you're kind of boiling it. Is that's the hot pot, right?
yeah. But this one, it already comes. everything comes together. It's not like the usual Sichuan hot pot where where you kind of like order like raw meat or vegetables and then you just put it in the pot. But this one already comes, everything comes together.
Okay, so it's a
Yeah,
preset meal, is it?
yeah, it's preset meal. Yeah,
Okay, that actually sounds good,
still
man. I'm
pretty good.
actually,
Yeah,
yeah. There's a lot of Chinese restaurants over here too that kind of
right,
just serve the normal ones like the barbecue meat and
right.
the typical Chinese food stuff. But the thing that's the thing that I really like about here is
Mhm.
so obviously there's a lot of Chinese immigrants over here as well, and the what biggest one of the best places to get Chinese food in theory is they call fish and chip shops over here.
Fish
So
and
you
chips.
heard
Yeah,
about fish and chips, right? You know what fish and
yeah,
chips
yeah,
are?
yeah.
So usually what happens that there's usually a Chinese family that runs those kind of shops in here. There's one near our place. So
Right,
we usually get it from there. So they sell fish and chips obviously, which is deep fried fish wrapped in batter and fries.
right.
But there's also some Chinese cuisine on the side. So for us Filipinos who love rice, the go to meal is probably just get a couple of pieces of fish,
Mm-hmm.
and you get some egg fried rice or some chop suey or
Right.
something like that. That's it.
Mhm.
That's how it is.
Oh,
So
that's pretty
the
cool.
basic Chinese takeout is
That's pretty cool.
what
Yeah,
those fish and chip places are.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, man. It's just
Hey,
a way to it's just a cheap way to just get some nice food. I guess it's
yeah,
not that
yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah. Yep.
Usually costs about I think a single probably $10. You're well fed already. That should be all right. If you want a couple of pieces of fish,
Right.
it's gonna cost a little bit more.
Uh,
Speaking of fish, right? The Lakers have been frying big fish so far. I
yeah.
like that segue.
Yeah.
Hey. So this week has been, you know, I don't know. It's this segment has been this segment of the season has been odd. So
It's been
first,
really
obviously,
yeah.
they had a big win against the Warriors, right?
Right.
So in on that Grammy trip, they finally get Jared Vanderbilt back.
Uh,
And if you were you able to watch a game, what do you think about Vando's? He only played limited minutes, but I think he made a
yeah,
big
yeah.
impact. Yeah.
He played limited minutes, but you can see the impact of his presence alone on the court. Like Jared Vanderbilt is what you want in a defensive player: active hands, active feet, contests shots. He's exceptional at closing out. So yeah, you can feel the impact that he has on the team now that he's healthy. And I mean, let's be honest, like a couple years ago when they made the playoffs after the Westbrook trade, you kind of knew that he was the big difference in that trade because he's a 3 and D, kind of pretty much like Dorian Finney-Smith, but I think he's a more active defensive player and um, yeah, and he rotates, he moves, he's exceptional at contesting shots. Not the bruiser type that we need underneath to stop guys like Jokic, but still he's an invaluable asset on the defensive side for us.
Oh yeah, and this impact was definitely felt in that game. I don't know
Oh
if
yeah.
people remember, but
Mhm.
yes, I think Steph was injured, but in the
Mhm.
fourth quarter they held him scoreless,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And that's how they won that game. The
yeah,
defense is what sealed them that game, and
yeah.
I don't think that Vanderbilt coming back plus the energy that he infuses within the team
Mhm.
that was no coincidence. That's the reason why they won that game.
Right.
Now, that got them back into the win column. But then they also they visited Charlotte, played against the Hornets,
Yep.
who missed Lamelo Ball. He was injured, I believe, in the first segment of that first quarter.
Right.
Um, yeah, what do you think about this game, man? There's I have some thoughts, but I want to hear yours.
Oh, from are we talking about the Hornets game?
Yeah.
Oh, well, the Hornets game was it's one of them. It's one of those games where, you know, they just they started really rough.
Mm.
You mentioned earlier, lazy play once again, from our team. LeBron went off like 17 shots, but I think for that game against the Hornets, the main story was AD. Like,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
goodness,
He had a
42
monster
points,
game. Yep,
23 rebounds. That's that's Shaq. That's prime Shaq numbers right there, man.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah,
So the
42 points,
dominance
50
that
rebounds.
he
Yeah,
had. I mean,
yeah,
look. Let's not pretend that Charlotte is even close to being a good team. Obviously, they're a horrible team, right?
yeah.
They don't have any interior presence out there, and
Mhm.
80 took full advantage of that.
Right.
He
Hmm.
was just unstoppable. Yeah, the Hornets are kind of, well, let's be honest, they suck,
Yeah.
but they didn't have anyone to stop AD, and AD played like it. And
Mhm.
this is what you want to see out of him, right? So
Yeah.
he took a lot of shots. He took 28 shots that game, right? But
Uh-huh.
that's what you want. He's supposed to be taking the most shots in this team, and he
Right.
was making them. He was just making mincemeat out of that Hornets defense. And
Mhm.
but the thing is, and here's the problem with this team, yeah. Uh, AD had a monster game, but if he didn't, they probably would have lost that one.
Oh yeah. 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 Mhm.
Right? They were really lazy in that game. They had zero energy. Apart from AD, there's no one who's actually playing with energy in that game, and that includes
Yeah.
LeBron. Right? You
Yeah.
mentioned it earlier. 17 shots to get to 22 points.
He took 70 shots to get to 22 points.
That's not good.
Yeah, he had his usual 7 rebounds, 8 assists. Oh man, like you talked about shot distribution. AD had 28 shots, 42 on 28 shots. You
Right?
know,
So that's pretty good,
yeah,
to
that's
say the
good.
least.
Um, LeBron 17 shots, Austin Reeves 14 shots. So
So that's what you want. That's
yeah,
like, I mean, those guys are gonna be your top three players,
yeah,
right? And that's probably the shot distribution that you want
mhm,
with your team. You'd hope that someone else would go and step up, but at this point, those three really have to play well in order for them to win. And uh, they played okay, and that's why that game was close. But I think if you ask me, that was a preview of what was gonna happen next, because
yeah,
they played in Philly the next day,
right.
right? And
So
I'll
again,
let you walk through that. Go for
it's
it.
this, it's this. You're riding on a high, and then all of a sudden it drops to a new low. So the Philly game was, we squandered the 9 point lead early on. For some reason, JJ put in Bronny James.
Yeah, I mean, look, that was. This
We'll
is
get to
probably the
we'll,
earliest Bronny has played, right?
yeah,
In this
we'll
season,
well, yeah, 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 yeah. Because I remember his day, the opener he played in the second quarter, I think.
second quarter, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they were up. In
But
that game, they were up. I think they were up double digits, and then Minnesota scored 5 straight points, and then he pulled
yeah,
Bronny out immediately because they were just,
yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
they were playing 4 on 5 that game, and
like,
it was, yeah.
needless to say, he got his lunch eaten by Tyrese Maxey.
Oh, he was cooked, man. He was cooked. I watched that game, and yeah.
Yeah, it's
So I look. I don't want to blame Bronny. I don't think he
no, no,
was
no,
the
no, no.
reason
We're
for
not
that.
blaming
But
Bronny. Yeah,
that when Maxi was cooking him, that kind of shifted the momentum towards the Sixers, and
right.
they never looked back in that game.
Yeah,
And um, so Bronny came in, I think, 8 minutes in the first quarter. He
yeah.
played for four
4 minutes.
minutes.
Yeah, 4 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
then that was the momentum shift right there.
yeah, because they were tied at the end of the one, and then Philly proceeds to score 48 points in the second quarter to the Lakers 32.
And that was it. And AD
That
was
was it.
injured in that
Yeah,
game, and that the big story with that game is that AD suffered an abdominal strain. If you
yeah,
watch the replay, it was, I think Bronny was driving to the hoop. He was lost. He threw the ball away, and AD
uh,
tried to catch it, and that was the injury. That's it. And AD is
right.
out for a week or two now.
Yeah,
So they got blown out in that game and
yeah,
lost AD in the process.
yeah.
That was just a loss. And
Looking at the stats of that game, like this is it's pretty alarming, like how they played overall as a team. Because we're look if you look at the plus minus of the Lakers, Jackson Hayes minus 19, Dalton Connect minus 14. Guess who's third? LeBron James minus 11.
LeBron.
Minus 11.
Look, and, and and even look, you know why? You know why it's like that? Because LeBron, the Lakers were already down 20,
Uh huh.
and LeBron was still in there in the fourth quarter. He scored half his points, so he ended up with
Yeah.
31. Right?
Yeah.
He scored half his points in garbage time,
In
and
garbage
people
time.
are saying, "Oh, he did all this best. He did." No, man, no. LeBron was
No.
playing 20 points down. He was trying.
Yeah.
They had zero chances, and everybody knew it. And then for some reason, maybe LeBron wanted to get his average up for some
Yeah.
reason,
Or
whatever.
yeah.
And, he played for I think 6 more minutes in the fourth.
Yeah.
They had no chance to win that game. There was no reason
No.
for LeBron to be in there.
Yeah.
And had he gotten injured, this is gonna be a different discussion, right?
Oh yeah.
But that's just and and everybody knows this already. And again, LeBron is a stat pattern.
Yeah.
And if you needed any more proof, this is it.
Sure.
He
Yeah.
was playing garbage time minutes and scored 15 points just to get his average up.
Yep.
Come on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Then we have. I have so much to say, and I want to talk about Bronny later. Let's keep that
Yeah. Yeah.
later. But LeBron in this game, that was just blatant stat padding. There was another game I remember where
Yeah.
uh, I think it was this side of the year, the season,
Uh-huh.
where he was, I think, an assist or rebound away from a triple double.
Hmm.
They were already down. The game was already finished. There was no reason for him to be in there. I think they were winning. I'm not sure, but he got his triple double, called timeout, and subbed himself out. Like what? Come on, man.
No.
And I hate to compare him to Kobe, right? Do you
Yeah.
remember what happened in Kobe's 80 do you remember the game where Kobe outscored the Mavericks through
Yeah.
three quarters?
Yeah. Through three quarters, he had
Do you know,
62. The Mavs scored. The Mavs had 61 or something.
I think he had I think he had
Yeah.
63 or 62 or something like that, but he basically outscored the whole Mavericks team by himself through three
Himself.
quarters. Do
Yeah.
you remember the story with that? Do you know?
Yeah. I don't know. Phil Jackson didn't play him the fourth quarter at all. So.
So there was a I think it was Brian Shaw was the assistant coach at that time. So
Mhm.
what happened was Brian Shaw asked Kobe if he wanted to come in.
Yeah.
So Kobe said, "Nah, I'm gonna get it next time."
Yeah.
And that was the setup for the eventual 81 point game.
Yeah.
Look, man, I mean, if we all know how great LeBron is, right? We all
Yeah.
know how amazing he is, but this kind of behavior is just
Nah.
this is what for me is one of the things that put him below Jordan for me because Jordan would never do this,
No. No. No.
right? Jordan would never. He would step on your throat, right,
Yeah.
and just finish the game
Yeah.
early as possible if he didn't have to play.
Mhm.
Steph Curry, when they're up big, he doesn't even play the fourth quarter anymore.
Yeah.
This is just
There's
as
another, yeah,
great.
not even else. There's another Larry Bird's. There's a Larry Bird story where I think he scored like 50 something in the span of like, or like yeah, he single handedly dominated like a game throughout three quarters, and yeah, he didn't check himself in for the fourth quarter, and his words were like, "Nah, I'm good. I've already done enough damage." So
Right? I
yeah.
mean, this is why I hate the discussion that LeBron is averaging a triple double
Mm.
or LeBron is averaging this much.
Yeah.
Those numbers don't mean shit, man. Because he has games like this where he just stat pads like crazy.
Yeah.
He cares more about the stats than the win,
Hmm.
and it's pretty obvious. I mean, look, and this is why it's hard to take. And again, I appreciate the fact that he scored what 41,000 points now. He's the
Yeah.
leading scorer in
In
league history,
history. Yeah.
and like that's the criteria that suddenly puts him above Jordan. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Jordan, how many seasons has Jordan played compared to LeBron?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
LeBron has played 22
yeah,
seasons. He
yeah,
needed 22 seasons to get
yeah.
that, right?
Kareem was the scoring leader for I don't know, like 20 something years. And they never put him on that same on they never put him in the goat, conversation just because he was the all-time leading scorer.
Yeah, look, I appreciate what LeBron is doing at this age. Obviously, that's great, but it doesn't. The milestones that he's achieving doesn't feel genuine because of bullshit like this that he pulls
Yeah,
every once in a while. It's
yeah,
just I understand the numbers look great. I understand that, but
yeah, yeah.
he's not getting it in the flow of the game, right? That's you remember this is kind of like the comparison we're in. What Kobe's 81 versus I believe Booker but had 71, I believe.
Booker 71 against Boston. Yeah.
Remember, if people have forgotten the Kobe game, and I hope they don't. So Lakers were down. They needed every bit of those 81 points
They were down
in order to
18,
win.
I think, or 20. They were down 20 in the
I
second.
remember that,
Yeah.
dude. I remember that game. I was working, right? I was working. I was in the office, and I was checking the box scores for this game, and
Mhm.
um, I saw that Kobe was getting on a heater.
Yeah.
So on our lunch break, I told my boss, he's also a big basketball fan.
Mhm.
Hey, you wanna watch this game because there's a restaurant near the office that we could check out, and we ended up staying for the game because Kobe he was going in 60, he was going in 70.
Yeah.
Ended up staying a couple hours in that restaurant just to finish that game.
Was this in the
Right,
Philippines still?
this was still in the Philippines, yeah. So it
I
was
remember
probably
I remember that day. I went to Ateneo. I went to school just to pay a visit because that was the year after we graduated. Remember?
yeah.
Yeah, I paid a visit, and there was like while I was walking around campus, there was like talk like, "Hey, Kobe scored 81." What?
Yeah.
When I got, I mean, and we still didn't have smartphones back then, but when I got home and checked NBA.com, like, whoa,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah,
wow,
we were at a bar watching that game, and it was like, oh, dude. I asked my boss, "Hey, do you want to go back to the office?" No, no, no. Let's finish this. We ended up finishing the game, man. I mean, thank goodness that dude is cool.
yeah,
He let us watch that game because
yeah.
I was able to watch at least the second
The second,
part of Kobe's masterpiece. So I was just happy to have watched it and compare that to Booker. They were just stat padding. They were already up. I believe that the game was already out of hand, and then they just wanted to get get Booker 70.
yeah.
That kind of diminishes it for
Put
me.
it into perspective, I think even Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game was a stat pad game.
Yeah, that was the story, right? Yeah, 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 yeah. I remember that.
They were up 20 what 20 something point, and then they just wanted to get into 100.
Yeah, was that when they just kept fouling just to get the ball back, get more possessions, and get Wilt's points?
Yeah, like they were just getting him possessions, get him to 100. What was I forgot who they were playing. I think it was the Knicks or something, but their tallest player was like 6'5". So
And again,
that's a
not we're
stat
not
pad game. But Kobe's 81 came when the team needed it the most.
exactly
You know,
right. That's
that's the
different.
difference. Yeah,
The quality there is just different, right?
yeah,
They really needed those 81 points because they were gonna lose that game if he didn't score 81. That was
mhm,
just how
yeah.
it is. And obviously the Lakers were really bad that time. That was post
Oh,
Shaq,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that was just and this is why so that's why it's hard to I don't want to say respect, but it's hard to kind of just take these LeBron numbers by face value
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because
Mm.
you know that it's those are manufactured. Those are fake.
Yeah.
They didn't have. I mean, look, he scored 15 points, right?
Mhm.
And they still lost by
Yeah,
20, right? I think they got it down to 15 at the end of the day, but the
that's
game
it.
was
Yeah.
never that close.
No, no, it wasn't
They
close. Yeah.
were obliterated,
Mhm.
right? And LeBron only had 16 prior to the whole thing, and he could have just checked out, but
Yeah,
it would have looked good on his averages.
right.
So
Mhm.
it's hard to take those numbers
Yeah,
seriously, right? And
and yeah, if we like, and again, we don't want to compare like LeBron and Kobe and Jordan, but Kobe and Jordan would probably be in on the floor in those games where they're down 20 with like what 10 minutes to play. Not because they want to pad stats, but because they believe that they can single-handedly have their team come back.
Yeah,
You
and even
know,
and, e- and even so,
they
right?
single-handedly they can. I was just watching like a few days ago. I was watching that old 95-96 game between the Bulls and Vancouver, the expansion Vancouver Grizzlies.
Mm.
So they're up like the Grizzlies are up like 12 points with like what 8 minutes to go or 6 minutes to go, and um, Jordan's having a bad game. Like he's scored like 12 points in a span of 3 quarters, and some kid on the Grizzlies, thought that it was a great time to talk smack against MJ. It's like, hey, Mike, shit's not falling tonight, huh?
I remember
So,
this. Yeah,
so Jordan basically, takes over the game. He scores 19 points in the fourth quarter alone.
right.
And they come
You know,
back to win. He's there like because Kobe and Jordan like they're there because they know that single handedly they can take over the game.
yeah,
They
for
can
sure.
they can
Right.
they can have they can lead their team to a comeback.
The, that's why it's hard. I mean, look, Westbrook averaged a triple double and didn't mean shit, right?
Yeah,
It's about the context of the numbers. And
yeah.
speaking of triple doubles, LeBron got his right now.
He
He
got
has 33 points, 10
oh like
rebounds, and
right now,
11
right
assists.
now.
And this is a quality triple double, if you ask me. They
Yeah,
needed this.
yeah.
They wouldn't be able to. They're up 13 right now against the Knicks, a great
Against the
team,
Knicks,
right? And they needed this triple double. He didn't have to stat pad for it. This was
he did
eventually
not
what
have the
was going to
standard.
happen.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this is fine.
yeah.
But when they're sometimes LeBron just stat pads for the hell of it.
Without,
Again,
yeah,
we're in the era where we have seen Russell Westbrook put up triple doubles and they were meaningless,
yeah.
right? And we're old enough to remember Corey Maggette, right?
Volume
He's
shooter.
so he has an infamous nickname among NBA fans. So his name's if you guys don't know, his nickname is Bad Porn,
Yeah.
right? So the reason why he's Bad Porn is because there's a lot of penetration and scoring, but are you really liking what you're seeing?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of, I think. Look, I don't think LeBron is definitely not washed, right? Let's
Was
be
it
honest.
watched?
He's
Yeah.
definitely not washed, but
No.
he's teetering to that point where he's closer to being washed
Yeah.
than closer to what his prime is. That's how he is right now,
Right.
unfortunately. Just how it is. And him having these stunts where he's playing garbage time minutes on while 20 down just to drum up his stats. It's just not gonna do it. And
Hmm.
what's the main complaint about him right now? Doesn't play defense because he's tired. But yeah,
Yeah.
you have time to play 6 more minutes in a garbage time game because you were
Right.
already blown out on a back to back.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. That's why, again, LeBron is a great player. Nothing is. I'm not denying that, but
Hmm.
Jordan is on another level, and
Yeah.
stuff like this is why.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, but hey, he did redeem himself the next game. So again, this
Against
is a
Washington. Yeah,
Washington team that
Washington.
sucks, right?
That
This is a
was so
Washington
bad.
team that sucks, and
Yeah.
yeah, they led
So
wire to wire, and LeBron actually had a good game here.
yeah, 24 points, 19 shots still. But yeah, they had a good game here.
And Bronny had an N1 play that was pretty good actually.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know
yeah,
if you
yeah.
saw the play, saw the replay.
Yep.
So it was he received the screen, top of the key. There was a miscommunication on the defensive assignment. I think they wanted to switch, but they didn't.
Mhm.
They gave Bronny a free lane to the basket, and he got an N1, a pretty acrobatic finish, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Pretty good, and that's the potential that people are
Mhm.
seeing in him. And again,
Right.
dude is dude is all right, right? But
Yeah.
let's talk about this later. But
Mhm.
that was I want to appreciate that play for what it is. It's a young kid who overcame a horrific
Yeah.
incident. Right? He
Yep.
gets to play regardless of what you think about whether he's supposed to be in this league or not. That was
Mhm.
amazing. It was good. That was good to see, right? And you can see they cut to LeBron who actually looked like a proud dad. That
Mhm.
was pretty good. I
Yeah.
appreciated that. I
That's cool. That
appreciated
was
that
cool.
shot.
Yeah.
Right? So, look, we they're nearing the end of this Grammy trip now. So They're currently up 13 points against the Knicks.
Uh huh.
Less than 4 minutes to go. I wouldn't want to call this yet, but more likely than not, they're probably gonna win this.
Mm,
And look, I expected them to lose this game bad, obviously
right.
without AD.
Yeah.
But the Knicks are bipolar as well. Cat has been horrible for some reason. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Uh-huh.
Um, they're going over. The next game is against. It's technically a home game, but it's not. It's they're playing the Clippers into a dome again.
Oh, okay.
So,
Hopefully, we're hoping for a better result this time.
but the thing is, Clippers always play hard against the Lakers. That's how it's been since.
They should, they
You
should.
know,
You know,
they
they're always being looked at as as the other LA team.
That's it,
Even
right? That's gotta piss you off.
yeah.
I remember a couple years back they had that stupid ad campaign. It was like street lights over spotlights or some stupid shit like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Also, that one time when they decided to cover the banners
Oh yeah, it's
with,
Staples Center.
with like the players' faces, like
Like what? Why are you gonna do
come
that?
on, man.
No, no. But again, hey, there was a stat that the Clippers for the last 5 years have been dominating the Lakers, and we can see that
Oh
from
yeah,
eye
yeah, yeah.
test.
Yeah, that's the sad reality. Yeah.
Right? And
Hmm.
even in the standings right now, they're fighting. So
Yeah.
Lakers are probably going to win this game. They're going to go up 28 wins, 19 losses.
8-19. Yep.
Clippers are half a game behind. They're 28-20 right now. So
Right.
the next game they're going to have is pretty huge because it's going to help with the seeding.
Hmm.
Obviously, the Lakers are in fifth seed right now. If they want to keep that, they got to beat the Clippers. So,
Right.
if they want to stay away from that playing game, and I hope they stay away from the play-ins this year. I don't think I can
Yeah.
handle another Lakers playing game.
Stay away from the play-ins and the Denver Nuggets. So,
That's
but it
it's
looks like
either
yeah, they have to go at least third in order to not play the Nuggets.
that's the thing though. I mean, there's a so obviously you can mess around with the seedings, right?
Yeah.
You can tank certain games even if you
Yeah.
don't want to admit it, just to affect your
Mhm.
seeding. What do you think about that in the spirit of the game though? What's your thoughts?
Um, I mean, let's be honest. Okay, tanking is I don't know. It's just not it doesn't look. It's not a good look for the game. But there's just some. I mean, no. I think it's just the way the game has changed. But because if we were like talking about like so basically the last 2 years the Denver Nuggets have been a thorn in the side of the Lakers. You know,
They've dominated
and
them, yeah.
yeah, and now the mindset is like, oh, I'm gonna oh we gotta be we gotta we gotta win more games, or either win more games to get in the third spot, or tank to not play them. But that again, that's the mindset. That's not a good look for the game. Again, going back to the Bulls in the '90s, where you saw the Detroit Pistons were the thorn on their side, but their mindset was no, we want to play them again because this time we're gonna get them back,
Mm.
and they did. After 3 years, they did. So I mean, again, I myself am kind of anxious that with them playing the Nuggets in the playoffs again, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, we want you know we want to get him back.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. Right.
Overall, it's
That's
not a good look. It's not a good look. Yeah.
no, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
There's two ways to kind of approach it, right? So,
Hmm.
do you wanna tank in the playoff seedings? I'm in a firm belief that they're gonna have to face the Nuggets regardless, right?
Regardless, yeah, yeah,
So
exactly, yeah,
why if you really believe in your team, why are you running away from that?
right,
If they're really gonna beat the Nuggets, then
hmm
just do it.
yeah,
Why are you gonna pussy out and just
right.
what the basketball gods are not gonna appreciate that
No,
if you just do that to blatantly just tank to affect your seating. I
Yeah.
understand the rationale behind it. I understand why you want to do it.
Mm.
If you're the team, but I don't think they should do it. Tanking
Yeah,
is
I don't
fine.
think we should do it. Yeah.
Tanking is fine if you're just trying to get draft picks,
Mm.
right? I mean, look, that's the only thing that kept me going after Kobe retired for the team.
Right.
The years they were just blatantly tanking,
Yeah.
that was fun under Byron Scott. That was fun to
Yeah.
watch at the very least. Okay, so I do not think they should tank. I
Mm.
don't think LeBron would even allow it,
Yeah.
and he shouldn't.
Yeah.
As much as we give him shit for stat padding, that his greatness is not gonna allow that kind of behavior. So they're just gonna
Yeah.
play
Mm.
as it is and see what happens. And if they face the Denver Nuggets early, they lose. Whatever. That's just what's gonna happen.
They should just put that mindset in that the road to the NBA Finals has to go through the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Whatever
So
happens, you know,
and
like forget about OKC, forget about the other teams like Houston, Memphis. We gotta get through the Nuggets first before we even think about OKC.
and think about it, if you actually manage to beat the Nuggets, how big that would be for your
Yeah.
confidence
Oh
level.
yeah. Yeah.
That's getting a huge monkey off your back.
Yeah.
That's gotta be inspiring if
Mhm.
you're the Lakers. And I'm
Right.
not saying it's gonna be easy. Denver Nuggets are playing really well right now. And
Yeah.
as much as we give
Yeah.
Westbrook a lot of shit, he's actually fit in that team.
He
I don't
is.
know. I
Yeah.
don't know how he's done it. He's just
Yeah.
fit on this team now.
Hmm.
Okay? He's just I don't know how Jokic did it, but
Hmm.
Russell Westbrook looks great in a Denver Nuggets uniform.
Right.
I want to buy a jersey. I want to get a Denver Nuggets
Brody
Westbrook jersey.
Nuggets jersey. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, yeah, he is. He's averaging 13, 5, and 6. That's solid for
Yeah, I mean
for a role
he's a veteran
for
minimum guy. He's not paying much, and the thing with him on the Lakers is that he was being paid 45 million to actually just
right.
throw up bricks. That's horrible,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
they were losing because of that.
Mhm.
Obviously,
Mhm.
we can talk about the salary cap impact and all that stuff, but
Mhm.
he's looked great on the Nuggets. He initially looked great on the Clippers if we're just
Oh
being
yeah.
honest too.
Hmm.
So it might be because that wasn't a good fit to begin with. To be
Right.
honest, I still think that's probably the worst trade in Lakers history, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Oh,
eh,
definitely.
you
Definitely.
know what it is if the LeBron fans furiously defend LeBron that say LeBron didn't have
Hmm.
anything to do with that trade,
Hmm.
but we all know it's just bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So that's how bad it is. It just when Westbrook got traded, that was a good that was like a sigh of relief, at least for the
Hmm.
fan base when he got
Oh yeah.
traded.
Hmm.
So okay, so quick update. So the Lakers just finished off the Knicks.
Uh,
They won by 16. LeBron
yeah.
was amazing in this game. You can't say a lot. He's 33, 11 rebounds, 12 assists.
Right.
Bronny actually scored in this game. Good job. He had
Good job.
they
Yeah.
gave him another high screen at the top of the
Right.
key, and he used that. He's got his father's genes in him. Obviously, he's
Yeah.
gonna have that athleticism,
Yeah.
and he was able to get it for a sweet left-handed layup.
Right.
We're gonna talk about Bronny in a bit, but
Yeah.
let's see what happens now. So Lakers have obviously um, 28-12 right now, and you got the trade deadline happening.
The other
Right.
guys are stepping up. Like, Rui Hachimura 21 points, Austin Reeves 27, Max Christie 15. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
they're
Rui had a good game.
making
This
up
is
for the absence of AD. Yeah.
this is the game that you want Rui to have.
Yeah.
Not just because he can help you right now, but also obviously good for his confidence. Also, if you want to
Yeah.
trade him,
Value.
this
Yeah.
might show potential people
Hmm.
that he's worth taking a gamble on. He's
Yeah.
got 2 more years on that contract at about 17, 18 million.
Hmm.
So if they do decide to trade him, then look, as far as the trade deadline goes, there are some candidates that they're looking for. Obviously, they're looking for
Yeah.
size,
Right.
and
Right.
they're looking for a point guard right now.
Yep.
So, news out of that front. Their news that Danny H is just asking too much for Walker
For
Kessler,
Walker Kessler,
and
yeah.
he's basically unobtainable.
Mm. I mean,
So I
we
think
mentioned this early last a few weeks ago, where Kessler, two first rounders for Kessler, and it's just not too much. It's just too
It's
much
too much.
for
It's too
for
much,
us to give up.
especially the first rounders that the
Mhm.
Lakers are gonna send.
Right.
You know, if those are lottery protected picks, I would send them out
Mhm.
quickly. But you can't.
No.
The
Mhm.
2029 pick and the 2031 pick most likely are gonna be top three. That's
Mhm.
that's just how it is.
Yeah.
80's gonna be gone. They're gonna be full rebuild.
Mhm.
So if you're the Lakers, you either draft top three or you trade him for a superstar.
Or
Not
trade it.
Walker
Yeah.
Kessler.
Mhm.
So I think Danny H is just trying to. He's just being Danny H at this point, being an asshole about it. So
Yeah.
he's trying to fleece somebody.
Yeah.
Trader Danny's just trying to fleece somebody, so they should stay away.
Yeah.
Now, there are some big men that they could
Mhm.
have a look at.
Yep.
Let's go through the options real quick, right?
Right. Yeah.
Jakob Pertl from the Raptors. How do you,
The
how,
Raptors.
how
Yeah.
do you think he's gonna fit in here?
Jakob Bertel, presence. I mean, he's. I'm not sure about. I'm not sure defensively, but yeah, he's got. Yeah, he's a big guy. He has presence. He's gonna be. He's gonna have the impact, but um, is it gonna be as big of an impact defensively as the next two people you're gonna mention? I am not sure. Because I mean, from here we're transitioning into, like, let's see if we get someone like, we'll mention it. I'll mention it now, like Jonas Valanciunas, or
Mm.
I think he's gonna be less of an impact defensively compared to Jonas. I guess I think,
You know what? I don't think they should. I don't think the focus is
but
look if you can get
still,
Walker
yeah.
Kessler.
But still, I don't
It,
think Pirtle. I don't think he's not worth giving up first rounders as well.
no, for sure. I don't think you should be giving out first
No.
rounders because look at it this way. So AD when AD said he wanted a center, he was referring to the 2020 year where they had JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard.
Howard. Yep.
Now to put this in perspective, JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard were essentially uh, playing each other's minutes. So JaVale was averaging around low 20s.
Right.
Dwight was averaging the low 20s as well. So
Yeah.
what you need is actually someone who's just going to be a big body in there.
Right.
That you want 80 to be essentially what a free safety is,
Hmm.
right? That's what you want from him.
Yeah.
And you want just that big guy down there to just bang and
Right. Hmm.
be a not really a defensive
Hmm.
presence, but more on someone who's going to help with the rebounding, someone who's a big body down low, who's going to clog that lane.
Hmm.
And the challenge is how you're going to fit in the offensive side because
Hmm.
no one really. The best you can get is a stretch five, but that's not available right now.
Yeah.
So you need someone who can actually provide a little bit more spacing, and
Hmm.
that's why I actually prefer Jonas.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I, I
Exactly. Yeah.
I think you should go for Jonas. Number one, because he's only being paid $9 million. That's number
Hmm.
one.
Hmm.
Number two, he's not going to cost much because you're probably just going to give away salary plus a second round pick or two to get him.
Hmm.
He's the cheapest option out there.
Yep.
We're gonna run through some in a bit, but
Yeah.
he can also provide a little bit of spacing. He's not a knockdown 3-pointer,
No.
but you still have to respect his 3-point shot because he can make it.
He can hit it. He can
Yeah,
hit mid range too. Yeah.
yeah, and he can provide some rebounding as well.
Yeah.
And for that price, so Jonas is making 9 million. So in
Hmm.
theory, you're gonna probably send out Gabe.
Hmm.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
So hey man, that's a win in my book because
It's a win.
you
Yeah.
got you're only sitting out Gabe and you're getting back someone who can rebound. You're keeping Rui,
Hmm.
which is probably good for you. So it's not going to cost you much. Now,
Yeah.
the next guy on our list is Clint Capella. So the Hawks have made him available as well. Okay, so just a bit of caveat here. So
Yeah.
the Hawks hold the Lakers 2025 draft pick,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So it's in their best interest to not help the Lakers improve right now
Hmm.
because they want that pick as they want the Lakers to perform as bad as possible. So They're
Yeah.
actually asking for a first round pick for
Wait,
Capella, which is insane.
is Time Lord off of the list? Is he gone?
Uh, so they kind of want they're kind of aiming for Brogdon as well.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Brogdon might not be. They might need to get some salary because Brogdon's making a lot, so they might
Mm.
not have someone for Time Lord.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
think it really depends on how they want to go. So
Mm.
the reports are they might. If I were to guess, they're probably gonna try for Jonas
Yeah.
and
And
Brogdon in this case.
Brogdon. Ooh,
That's
that's actually
probably it,
really good. Yeah.
right? So it's
Yeah.
probably Jonas and Brogdon
And
or
Brogdon.
Lonzo. It's
Yeah.
probably that's
Actually,
if I were to bet
yeah.
something, that's probably the deals that are gonna get done because those are the deals that are
That would
just
help
gonna
a
cost
lot.
you second
Yeah.
round picks.
Mm.
You can get away with
Uh,
very heavily protected first rounder in that
yeah.
deal, and you're gonna get a point guard
Mm.
who can take the load off LeBron,
Yeah.
and you're gonna get a center that can stick down low. So my
Right.
can I make it official? A Bigote Brothers podcast prediction.
Prediction. Okay.
We're gonna predict Jonas Valanciunas and
Malcolm
Malcolm
Brogdon.
Brogdon to be the Lakers.
Let's do it. Yeah.
I think that's it because
Let's do it. Yeah.
Jonas and
Yeah.
Brogdon are on the Wizards right now.
Yeah. Paging
Brogdon
Rob
isn't playing.
Pelinka, get this deal done, man. Let's do
Let's get it,
this.
Rob.
Let's do
Let's
it.
get it.
Yeah.
I think this is the most sensible deal that they can make.
Mm.
Because of what assets they have and what
Mm.
assets they prefer to keep in
Yeah.
deals. So I think it's pretty obvious that they don't want to spend the first round pick, which is very, very
Right.
reasonable considering
Yeah.
how valuable those picks are. So
Mm-hmm.
I think Brogdon and Jonas are the deal.
Mm.
It's just a matter of matching salaries because I
Yeah.
believe Brogdon's making at least 15 million. I'm not too
Yeah. Yeah.
100% on that
Mm.
one. But in that case, you're probably gonna have to send Gabe and Rui, which is
Rui. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that should be a fair trade because we talked about Rui before. He's playing really really out of position right now.
Yeah.
He did well, but
Mm-hmm.
that's with 80 out, so he might be playing his natural position. So Brogdon is making 22.5
Mm-hmm.
million right now,
Yep.
so that's definitely gonna cost you Gabe. If the Lakers
Yeah.
deal
They'll
with the
cost you a little
Wizards,
bit.
that's gonna cost you three players probably.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing it's Rui, it's Gabe, and probably Jalen Chafino plus a couple of second round picks. That's
Right.
probably what it is.
Yeah.
So, this is probably the best win now trade they can make
Mm-hmm.
while keeping flexibility moving
Yeah.
forward.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. They got how many days? You have a couple more days to get
5 days.
it done. So
We have 5 days to the trade deadline, so we'll see what
that's it.
happens.
Because I think right now the first domino that's waiting to drop, well, the first two dominoes that are waiting to drop are the Jimmy Butler one,
And the De'Aaron
which
Fox.
one that's being really really toxic, and then
Yeah.
you have the De'Aaron Fox one,
Uh-huh.
which is rumors are he's going to be headed to the Spurs. So if you think about that, if the Spurs trade for
Uh-huh.
De'Aaron Fox, who's the
Right.
odd man out in that situation?
Chris Paul.
There you go. So
Yeah.
there's a Chris Paul might be a buyout candidate.
There's actually a scenario that there's a scenario that played out. I forgot where I saw it, probably social media, but it was a 5 team deal that would send Chris Paul to the Lakers, and and it involved the Aaron Fox as well going to the Spurs.
I mean, if they really want Chris Paul, that's probably the deal to go for.
Yeah, yeah,
They just put their name in the hat in that
yeah,
trade, and they could. I mean, Chris Paul is not doing bad right now. I mean,
yeah.
he's old, but
But he's still, yeah,
he's still Chris Paul. I don't care what he might have lost that mid range game. He might have lost
right.
a lot of his shooting, but you still gotta respect the shot.
Oh yeah,
I don't care who you are. You
yeah.
gotta respect Chris Paul's shot, regardless. And he's gonna be a playmaker. And
Oh yeah.
just look,
Mhm.
man, just imagine Chris Paul running pick and roll with AD or LeBron,
Yeah. I mean,
right?
the
That's
thing that like Chris Paul might have slowed down with age, but the IQ still there.
oh yeah, just
Yeah,
like LeBron, right? The IQ is gonna be. I think
yeah,
it's gonna be a seamless fit if they can get
right.
Chris Paul.
Mm,
And take note, Chris Paul lives in Los Angeles too.
yeah,
So I don't think he's gonna come back to the if he goes to LA on the buyout market.
Mm.
that that's he's gonna go to the Lakers. That's it.
Right.
So they either get a point guard. They're gonna get Jonas,
Mm.
or I think Jonas is a done deal. I don't
Right.
think anybody else they can get right.
Uh,
Capella's out there, Vucevic is out there, but it's just Vucevic is making 20 million. Capella's making something similar,
yeah.
so they'd have to
Although,
sit up.
yeah, yeah. With all these, with all the talk about Chris Paul, like I think the better long term investment would be Brogdon.
True,
Yeah.
but if you can get if you look, only gonna cost them Gabe Vincent if they trade for
Jonas. Yeah.
Jonas.
Mm.
That's just a small price to
Right.
pay, and obviously they're losing a point guard, so they gotta get a point guard. They
Yeah.
gotta get someone who can knock down that shot. You might not be a defender, right?
Yep.
But you have Vando back. You have Max Christie.
Right.
I don't think a point of attack defender is what you're gonna expect from that point guard
Mhm.
position. If you can get Chris Paul, I think you should go for it. I
Yeah.
think that's the play. If you can get
Uh,
Jonas or Chris Paul, you go for
Chris
it. But
Paul. Yeah.
if not, you can always pivot back to you can take a risk with Brogdon or Alonso. Look,
Right.
those two guys are injury prone right now. I get it,
Yeah. Yeah, true.
but they're Alonso's expiring.
Uh,
Brogdon is expiring.
mm.
So you just take the risk. That should be all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
If they don't work out, then they're out next year. So
Yep.
that's it. So it's either they get Jonas and Brogdon, or they might get Jonas and Chris Paul.
Chris
That's a
Paul.
win for me.
Yeah. Well, definitely.
So we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see in a couple of days how this
Yeah.
trade market develops.
Uh huh.
But obviously, I think everyone's waiting on Butler and on
Yeah.
Fox. What happens to them
Yeah.
now? We're saving this for last, actually.
Yeah.
So we're talking about LeBron James Jr. So we kind of touched upon this earlier.
Uh-huh. Yep.
We touched upon this earlier. So I still don't know what JJ was thinking playing Bronny in the first quarter.
Right.
What are your thoughts on this situation right now with him with Bronny James on the team?
Like with Bronny James, I mean, okay, like Bronny James, like let's just put it into perspective. If it was anybody else, if he was not the blood of LeBron James, which is in who is in the conversation for greatest of all time. Let's put it in perspective. Kid who comes out of his freshman year at USC, averaging 4 points a game,
Four, yeah, something like that.
gets drafted number 55 overall. Any other kid who was in that position would be in the G League on a two-way contract, probably, or
Mm.
not even that, in the G League waiting for a 10-day contract. That's the reality of that's the reality of the NBA,
Yeah,
But given that Bronny is the son of LeBron James,
and he has the same name too. Take note of that.
exactly. I mean, he's I would love to be in his shoes, man. That's
I,
for
I,
sure.
I mean,
But
okay,
but let's face it, let's face it. Like they put him in 3-4 minutes a game. He's just yeah, like you mentioned, he's just getting cooked. Maxi was cooking him. Like,
well, I'll be the devil's advocate for this bit, right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Maxi's gonna cook anyone, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
um, look, my you kind of hit it right. So if this was anybody else, if it was someone else drafted that low,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're probably gonna get a two-way contract at best.
At
Let's
best.
let's let's give
At
some
best.
examples here. So Austin Reeves undrafted, he got a two-way deal.
Yeah.
My goat, Alex Caruso, undrafted, he got a two-way deal.
Right.
You got, I think, the leading scorer in the G League right now. I think when the last check was Kenny Lofton Jr.
Ooh, oh
undrafted.
yeah, yeah,
Undrafted. Was good in college though. I remember he had some decent games in college.
mm, yeah,
Undrafted. He's averaging 26, 27 in the G League.
right.
You you don't even remember who's drafted that low because they
No,
usually don't pan out. They usually don't get number one. They don't get opportunities to play
right.
in in the NBA. Nonetheless,
Mm,
maybe sometimes not even the G League. They usually go overseas.
yeah,
Um, but this the son of arguably the best. Sorry, I don't even want to say that. The son of the second best basketball
right.
player of all time
Yeah.
is not an NBA player. Okay,
Mm.
let's just be honest with
Let's
that one.
be.
Bronny
Yeah,
James is not an NBA player, and there's nothing wrong with saying that.
yeah,
There
yeah.
should be nothing wrong in saying that, right?
Mm,
We all know why he's on the team. We all know
yeah,
why he's playing in these games.
right.
There's only one reason why, right? And it's because of his dad. That's essentially what it is. This
Yeah,
is call it whatever you want,
right.
nepotism, whatever,
Mm,
right? The reason why Bronny James is in a Laker uniform is because his dad essentially, I don't want to say runs the team, but he wields significant influence in here. We've
significant
seen this
power and
time and time
influence.
out, right? The
Yep,
GM, I don't care what anybody says, that's a real thing.
that's
Okay,
real. That's real.
it's real. All right, they're clutch mafia for a
Mm,
reason,
right.
and LeBron James Jr. is not an NBA player. Now, the my issue with him, and I've been consistent in this one. My issue with him, and it looks like it is with you too. He's on a guaranteed deal,
Guaranteed
right?
deal. Yeah.
Let's spell it out. Each NBA team has 15 guaranteed roster spots to fill.
Mm,
Okay, 15, 1 5,
right.
and I believe they get two-way contracts. That brings
Yeah.
it to 17.
Yeah. Yeah. Two way.
So
Two of them. Huh?
the main difference between a guaranteed contract and a two-way contract is that if you're in a two-way contract, you're essentially a G League player that's on loan to an NBA team.
Right.
And I don't know the exact number, but you can only play an X amount of NBA games if
Yeah.
you're in a two-way contract
Hmm.
before you get converted to a
Before you get
standard
converted. Yeah.
guaranteed deal.
Either
That's the rule.
and there's I know this based on 2K. So either you release him back to the G League for good, or you
Yeah.
sign them to a guaranteed contract.
Yep. So that's what happened with Austin. That's what
Mm,
happened with Alex, and that's fine because they
mm,
they definitely are worth it, as everybody can see right now.
yep.
Bronny James isn't. You're not gonna sign him. No one with a competent GM would sign Bronny James to a guaranteed deal
Yeah.
because that means that you're committing to putting this player on your 15-man roster. Now, the implications of that are more in the salary cap more than anything, right?
Yeah.
You obviously cannot sign more than 15 players, and you obviously have to play within the salary cap when you're signing someone on a guaranteed deal. So
Mhm.
Bronny, I think, is making less than 2 million. It's probably making 1 million right now.
Right. Mm,
Again, with the way that the apron rules have been set,
mhm,
every dollar counts right now.
mhm.
And you're saying that by having Bronny James on this team, you're expecting him to contribute in such ways.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Of
Well,
course.
he's not. He's a garbage time player.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, but what about Jalen Chifino? What about Maxwell Lewis, who was a second round pick given a guaranteed
Mm,
deal?" Well, Maxwell Lewis just got traded, bro.
yeah.
He just got traded for someone.
Yeah.
Jalen Chifino is not going to be a Laker next year because they declined his team options.
His
For
option.
those who don't know, rookie deals, first round draft picks get a 2+2, meaning you got 2 guaranteed years,
Mhm.
and the next 2 years that your team has to say
An
essentially
option.
that
Yeah.
I still want this. So essentially a probationary period if you're at work.
Yeah.
So they basically said, okay, Jalen Shafino failed the probationary period. We don't want him to be on this team next year.
Yeah.
So Jalen Shafino is an expired contract now, and
Yeah.
they're gonna be trading him. If someone, he's gonna be salary filler for someone.
Right.
That's not going to happen with Bronny James. They're never going to,
No.
as long as LeBron James is on the team, Bronny James is not going anywhere.
No. No.
You're
No.
sandbagging
Yeah.
a roster spot for someone who is not going to contribute to your team whatsoever. He's essentially a cheerleader.
Yeah.
right? He's essentially there to cheer up his dad,
Mhm.
to make sure his dad plays well. And again, we mentioned this play against the Sixers, right? That was great. That was great. That was great to see him driving. Right, LeBron had a proud father look to him.
Yeah.
That was great. That was a
Yeah.
great moment.
Mhm.
And call me crazy, but I think what they're trying to achieve by playing Bronny James that early is they wanted to get that video of LeBron assisting to his kid,
Yeah.
kind of like a passing of the torch moment. That
Yep.
would be great for whatever documentary LeBron is
Right.
cooking up, and you
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
be
Of
sure that
course.
he is cooking up something.
Oh yeah.
Because hey man, look, they were chanting MVP chants on
Yeah.
Bronny when he was at the line. They were saying
Yeah. They
they were
were. They
chanting
were.
MVP chants. Everyone was cheering for Bronny every time he got the ball. Everyone was everyone wanted him to come inside the game. We want Bronny, and
Right.
everyone was just look. I don't mean to be a bad person here, but you know those videos where you got this unathletic kid or this kid on a high school team,
Mhm.
and they're just giving him the ball nonstop so he can make a basket, and everybody
Right.
cheers when he does make a basket.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like
Yeah.
when Bronny James is
Right.
in the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what it feels like. That they were just he's just a sideshow.
Uh.
They're not. I don't think they're taking him seriously. It's like again those YouTube Shorts videos of kids just
Mhm.
uh sportsmanship videos where they're just passing to the
Yeah.
to this kid who makes a basket and everyone cheers and what. That's what it feels like when Bronny James gets any playing time. That's just how it is. It's kind of like it's a different situation, but similar when Darko Milicic was getting calls to play
Mhm.
because the Pistons were essentially up or down big,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
they wanted Darko
They
to be
want
in the
Darko.
game
Yeah.
because he was a
Yeah.
mean because he was picked between LeBron and Melo.
Mellow. Yeah.
So that's what it feels like when Bronny's in the game, and
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith did exactly the same thing that we're doing now. He called out LeBron for essentially manufacturing this situation, and
Right.
I feel
Mhm.
bad for Bronny, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You're
We all do. Yeah. Like
you're
it's.
carrying the name of the second best basketball player in history.
Mhm.
You're LeBron James.
Yeah.
You're junior, but you're still LeBron James, and
Right.
that's probably the worst scenario for him to grow up in as a basketball
I
player.
mean, yeah, of course. I can't imagine. I can't imagine the expectation that comes with that name, with carrying the name of your dad.
Mm.
Like, that's crazy. You know,
You Marcus Jordan was already carrying that pressure just because of his last name.
just with the last name. Yeah,
Just this is the last name.
yeah.
Everybody knew that they were kids of the goat.
Jeffrey and
And now
Marcus.
you
Yeah,
got you got this guy who names his kid after him.
yeah,
The pressure is just too much,
yeah.
right?
It's too much. Yeah.
But the funny thing is, Stephen A. actually came on his podcast and said that someone from Clutch called him, and they were mad because Stephen A. was calling him out.
Uh,
This kind of feels like Drake in suing just to get his reputation. Man, come on, look,
right.
LeBron, you're already a goat. Okay, you're already a great player. You already accomplished so much. You don't need
Yeah.
to be doing this.
Yeah.
This. You don't need to be the soft man. We know how floppy you get, but
Mm.
you don't need to do this, bro.
No, you don't.
Bronny's not an NBA player.
No.
That's just how it is. Let's
Yep.
just move on and accept that.
Let's
And
let's call a spade a spade. You know.
and, and let's be real. Once
Yeah.
LeBron retires, I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron retiring means that we're gonna have the first father and son
Mm.
moment where they both retire on the same day.
Uh-huh.
Because I think Bronny's retiring once Bron goes. Because there's no way
Yeah.
any
Yeah. I'm
NBA
pretty
team is
sure.
gonna
Yeah.
give him any run.
Yeah.
Unless you want to suck up to Clutch, which is another
Uh-huh.
story there.
That's another story. Yeah.
But yeah, that's I look I like I like seeing this moment. This is nice as a
Yeah.
father. I kind of appreciate it. But
Yeah.
if you're trying to win, fine. But don't do this. You don't need to do this, LeBron. You're way better than this.
Yeah.
Let the kid just be good on his own. He's
Let
been
him
actually good in the
yeah.
G League.
Yeah, yeah, he is. Dude, he was dropping 30 points in the G League. You know?
Yeah, and he's not. He doesn't have the size of LeBron. He
Yeah.
doesn't have the same athleticism, but that's the burst is there.
Hmm.
You can see it, and I mean, just this game, right, where I don't think he can get by someone one on one. That's just not what's gonna
Mm,
happen with him. He
yeah,
has to have a free lane to the basket, and
yeah,
that's gonna be a screen. But
right.
it was once he gets that downhill pressure, once he goes to the rim, that's it,
Yeah.
right? And you've
I mean,
seen him.
when also we want to make one thing clear. When we say that like Bronny James is not an NBA player, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have the potential to actually make a roster. He can. He can. He has the genes. You know, all it now. It's just a mindset thing. Now, if I was if I was in Bronny's position, like I hear all these naysayers, tell me, hey, he's not an NBA player. That would just that would just stir it up, you know, in me, and just like work my butt off, and just
But I mean,
just
psychologically, that's the thing
yeah.
though, because he grew up in a life of luxury, man. Let's just be honest with
That's
it,
another yeah,
right?
yeah,
There's
yeah.
the difference between. I think this is the difference between the first generation and the second generation stars. If you look at it,
Uh,
is because their dads had to work for their position. They had to. I think the exception here is Curry. Obviously, you have that. But
right.
when have you
Kobe,
seen
Kobe.
superstars and their sons being good? I don't think you've ever seen that before. You usually see the sons of role players being really good.
Yeah, yeah. That's
That's
what I
what you usually
noticed.
see.
The kids of superstars don't really make it,
No,
but the kids of like role players are the ones who do.
I'll give you a couple examples. So,
Yeah,
Jared Jackson Jr. number
Jaren
one.
Jackson Jr. Yeah,
His dad wasn't. His dad was a role player.
yeah.
I remember Jared
Jaren
Jackson.
Jackson. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right. You have Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith was
Jabari Smith
he
from the
was
Rockets. Yeah,
yeah. His dad was a role player. I mean, the most prominent one in here is probably Wardell,
yeah. Wardell, Stephen Curry. Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Wardell.
I mean, everybody knows who Del Curry is, but
Yep.
Del Curry was a great role player.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, look what Steph is now.
yeah. Mhm.
I think Michael Thompson as well with Clay,
With Clay. Yep.
and you have. I'll give you something from the out of the sport. You got Max Verstappen,
Mm.
right? Max Verstappen. Probably he's one of. I don't know I don't know where he is in F1 lore. I don't know if you watch too much F1, but Jos his father Jos wasn't really
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
who was
yeah. He was.
known,
Yeah.
right? But obviously Max is on his way to
Max
being a
is.
goat right now.
He's is he up there with Schumacher now?
No, no, no. So if you're talking about F1, it's
Yeah,
definitely Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton on the top right
on the
now.
top. Yeah. Hmm.
So
Senna
they both
also.
have seven. They both have seven.
Yeah, Senna's on
And
that level too.
Senna is,
Yeah,
Senna is more of, I think. Well, if you're talking about impact on the sport,
yeah,
Senna's definitely up there because he's the inspiration for
yeah, yeah.
everybody.
Oh yeah.
But if we're just talking about results,
Results. Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, Schumacher won 5 straight championships. That's just something else. Lewis is on the way of Lewis has won the same championships as Michael, and Max just won his fourth straight. So Max is on the way. Max is on the
Yeah,
way. He's definitely got the talent, and he's got the car to be there.
yeah,
But again, that's because the difference between if your father's a superstar versus not is, do you have that hunger? Do you have that
yeah,
drive?
yeah,
Right? It's like that's I don't want to equate it to us, but look, man, we're immigrants. This
yeah,
we have the reason why we became immigrants is because we have a certain
yeah,
drive. That's not with everybody. I'm not saying that we're good at what we do. That's not what I'm trying to say. But in order to actually, especially in a sport, to achieve it, I mean, you really have to put in the work. And if you grew up in a life where everything was given to you, it's kind of hard to have
yeah,
that edge.
yeah,
You got to be a psycho to do that. And Bronny just looks like he likes to play video games, and that's it. I
yeah,
mean, there's nothing wrong with that,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
look, just compare him to his dad, who grew up in extreme poverty.
Right.
He grew up with nothing.
Yeah.
He grew up in a broken family. That's gotta do something to you, right?
Oh yeah.
And so again, not to knock on Bronny, it's just that he grew up in different circumstances at his dad,
Right.
and obviously doesn't have the same physical tools that his
Right.
dad had at his age. It's just that's just how it is, right? He's not nearly as athletic as prime LeBron. He might be a better shooter than rookie LeBron,
The
but that's
rookie
not
LeBron,
saying
yeah.
much, right? But he's just too small, man. He's just six
Yeah.
two. He's a 6'2" wing player stuck in a point guard spotty.
Right.
That's not gonna help.
Yeah.
But hey, I again coming from what he came back from, that's an achievement all its own, right?
That's already an achievement, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Seriously. Yeah.
I just hope that they don't, because the kid is a sideshow at this point. I just hope
Mhm.
that they don't make it more of what it is. And
Yeah.
JJ playing him in the first quarter,
Uh,
I know they were up 8, I think, and that was a good time to put it, whatever. But the kid's not ready for prime time NBA minutes, and
yep.
he shouldn't be given that. I don't care if I know JJ's lying when he says he deserves it and all that shit, but this. I mean, you said it. Call a spade a spade. Just play
Right.
him in the fourth quarter. These garbage time minutes. That's how he is, and
Yeah.
he can do his damage in the G League.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, the next episode we're gonna film. Trade deadline's probably gonna be over.
Right.
There's gonna be an interesting
We'll see
trade
what
deadline.
happens. Yep.
Let's see what happens. And obviously, the Lakers are now firmly in the playoff race. They're in fifth with the Clippers game to come, and that's the end of their road trip. And yeah, man, we're mostly season's almost done. It's Feb. You got
Mhm.
2 months left in the season. And what could be LeBron James's penultimate season
Right.
if our prediction is correct.
Uh,
So moving forward, let's see what happens.
we'll see. Yep.
All right.
All right.
That's probably it tonight. And thank you guys for watching wherever you're watching us. So our socials are gonna be on the middle here if you want to check us out. We're gonna start posting some clips soon.
Right.
Just get
Yeah.
the time, and then yeah.
Cool.
Thank you for watching.
All right. Peace.
Cheers. Peace.